Right. Hello, everyone, and happy Monday. We are so excited to have Heather Yacenda on, and we'll be talking about mastering the art of blending coveted mane extensions. Hi, Heather. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, thank you guys for having me. I'm happy to be here.
So can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Give us your salon name, where you're from, and how long you've been in the beauty space?
Yeah, so my name is Heather Yacenda. My Instagram is at Heather Yacenda Hair. I have a salon that is mainly extension and color based in Wichita, Kansas. My salon is called Studio H Salon. I am in a side A Sola salon building, but I have one of the largest Solas. So we've taken over 4 spaces. So we're pretty large. And yeah, I've been doing hair for just about 14 years now, so quite a while, and I've been doing extensions for a little over 10.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your Monday to jump on with us.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Of course. So let's dive into all things extension and talking about blending. So with a luxury extension service, it starts with a great consultation. Why is it important to you to have a stock when discussing color blending and combinations with clients?
So ultimately, I think the most important reason to carry a stock is going to be to give you, as the stylist, confidence. So anytime you don't have a stock inside your salon, you are basically guessing at what you're needing to purchase, and that's going to make it a little bit harder. If you carry even a small stock, even if you're able to carry a few different tones of blondes, a few different tones of brunettes, you're going to make it so much easier on yourself, not only to perfect that color, but you're going to feel a little bit more relaxed and confident going into that consultation.
Oh, for sure. And I think a lot of clients are visual. They want to see the hair, maybe give like a feel to it, just to understanding, going with understanding of what they're getting installed. And it's a great selling point, isn't it?
It definitely is.
So why is it important to you to get familiar with different shades before doing your consultations, like setting yourself up for success and feeling confident during your consultation?
So really with the different shades, if you not only have them in stock, but if you're able to see them and know what shades blend really well with others, then you're going to set yourself up for success. You're not going to go into that consultation or go into that appointment and play the guessing game of, oh, let me put this bright color with this other color, and then maybe they don't marry together as well as what you would really want. So being comfortable with all of the colors is definitely going to be beneficial and helpful for you as a stylist. And that's going to give anybody that's sitting in your chair confidence in you as well, that you know what you're doing and you're a professional.
And exactly, I think it speaks to your expertise as an artist. If you're able to lay out all of this gorgeous hair, but tell them the why behind it. Like you
Yeah,
need a bit of dimension in there, even if you are blonde. Like, let me guide you where you need to go.
I love that. You're the professional.
Exactly. And using coveted mane shades, what is your favorite blonde transformation?
Okay, I was gonna say because it is really hard to say one favorite blonde. Blonde in general is across the board with hair extensions is like the quintessential, I want to be long and blonde.
Yes.
So I feel like when you go into those blonde consultations, you want to really know all of the different blondes that Covet Mane has to offer because you can create so many different looks. But some of our favorite right off the bat, Amalfi, that is going to be our number 1. I actually have it in front of me. So this one is Amalfi. And the reason why we love this one so much is it's so nice and bright. It still has that little bit of dimension, but when you put it in the hair, it's going to feel like an all over blonde. And it's a really good base color to mix and match with your really bright blonde zero if you wanted to add that in, or you can kind of go the other route and add in a Newport or a more dimensional color to kind of switch it up. But the other nice thing that we love about the Amalfi is that since it doesn't have a root, you can do a baby micro root on it and it really be great for those bright blondes that don't really want to see a root, but we know at that 6 to 8 weeks when they come back in, they're going to have a little root. So we love this because we can just do that micro root on it, but it's also a great option that if you're limited with what you can have in stock, you can use this and do your micro root, but you can also use this and bring the root down and get the most bang for your buck. So this is one of our go-tos and our favorites.
I love that. And I feel like the lived-in look has become like the trend now because a lot of people like they still want to be a bright blonde, but it's that maintenance on the tail end of it. Like, what is this going to look like in 6 to 8 weeks? How can I achieve a beautiful style and still maintain my hair health at the same time?
I feel like lived in, that's one of the number one things. And then also we see the word dimension thrown around so much. And I feel like that's been a word for a while, but honestly, coming like out of 23 going into 24, I feel like last year and this year, everybody wants to hear the word dimension when you're putting their hair in, even if they are a bright blonde. We've seen some of our bright blondes that mainly do blonde zero, and they're saying, I still want to be a blonde zero, but I just want that touch of dimension. And so
Yeah.
this is going to be a really good option for just that touch of dimension in your bright blondes.
And I love that you mentioned that everyone wants dimension. And I feel like brunettes are the same way. Like we've entered the era of expensive brunettes. So what are your go-to base colors and which shades do you use to create dimension for your brunettes?
So brunette, my go-to base colors is going to be the Portofino. That's going to be a little bit darker. And then Santiago, that one, I feel like for me, it's a true level 6.
Mhm.
And it's such a great base color for most brunettes. But also when I mention most bang for your buck, if you are building your stock up, I have that one around here somewhere. Here we go. So this is the shade. And the reason why I love this color so much is because if you are someone who you want to build your stock up, this is going to be something that you can color a level down. So it's not too dark to where if you come in and your client is slightly darker, you can root this to match them perfectly. You can darken a few pieces and match it perfectly. But this is a really pretty kind of neutral brown shade that I love. Another one is just the natural. That one is really good. It's a little bit darker. But for your darker clients, your clients that want that expensive brunette, and maybe they are a solid all over, but they want that rich warmth to the hair without being too warm. I feel like the natural is the perfect amount of rich, warm tones that are just what it is, natural.
I love that. And tell us, what do you like to mix those with? Like, what are your balayage colors that are your go-tos?
Yeah, so that kind of leads into some of my transition colors, but with the brunette tones, some of my favorites are going to be Dubai and Milan. I love both of those. Dubai is going to be great for someone that wants to stay more of that kind of neutral, natural, where I feel like Milan has a little bit of those warmer tones in it, and it pops a little bit more. And then, of course, you're going to always have your clients that are really dark. And so I feel like having that Santiago can actually be not only a good base color, but if you color it down, the natural and Santiago going together, actually that married together is a really pretty, just soft, natural dimension.
Oh, it sounds beautiful.
Yeah.
And we kind of touched on it when you mentioned your transitioning blends. Like, what does that mean to you, and how do you go about talking to a client that's going from lighter to darker? Can you walk us through your process?
Yeah, so when we have our consultations initially, we actually do all of our consultations over the phone. And that goes back to really us having a good stock at our salon, because when we have a good stock at our salon, we can take an application online, have them submit photos to us, and we don't have to use our time up in the salon to do true in-salon consultations. So we do over the phone consultations, and then when they come back in, for their first install. Then we really show them, hey, here are some different color options. This is what we hand picked out. But I always like at the consultation to not only see their initial photo of where they're wanting to go, but also ask, are you someone that you love to stay blonde year round? You love to stay brunette year round? Or are you someone that really does want to transition? And I feel like more often than not, we are going to have those clients that they want to stay in the same family of colors, but they do want to get a little bit brighter in the summer, and they might want to go a little bit darker in the fall or winter months. And knowing that and using colors that can kind of play off of that and working smarter, not harder for yourself in the salon is going to be key. So for us, one of the things that we do is we're very intentional when we speak to the client, letting them know, hey, here's your first install. This is what your hair is going to look like. But if you are wanting to transition down the road, the beauty of having a little bit of hair in stock is that we can swap out some different pieces instead of doing an all over new look and transition slowly and really healthy for the hair too, using some of that hair instead of just doing color on their hair. So some of our transition colors that we love, Newport is always a really good go-to. That's one of the colors that I feel like if you're watching this and you have not tried Newport, you have to do it. You have to like bite the bullet and get Newport in all the lengths. That is one of our favorites. It really has a mixture of dimension, light enough tones, dark enough tones for somebody's natural color, and it has a little bit of warmth and a little bit of cool tone. So I love that because sometimes if you have a really cool tone blonde and then you add more cool tone in the dimension pieces, it kind of gets lost a little bit. And then if their hair fades, it might not fade true to tone. So having just that little bit of cool and warmth, I feel like kind of marries everything together. So I love Newport. Another really good one is Cape Town. It's funny because at Cape Town, a lot of people, I think, forget because they think that it looks a little bit darker. I actually have some Cape Town in my hair, and I've gone a little bit lighter with my hair, but I still like just that little bit of dimension. And the nice thing about putting something like Cape Town in is maybe if they're blonder, they have that on the underneath side, but then when they want to go a little bit darker, you can kind of flip your wefts, have that color a little bit more on top, and maybe add one or two more pieces, and then you've got a totally new look.
Exactly. And you get to play around with colors too, because I feel when you're bringing your hair out to your client, they're like, wait, I see a dark piece and I want to be blonde.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just want to hide it in there, but being able to like talk them through and then confirm the consultation when they're in person, it's just another layer of comfort for them. And you get to play around as an artist as well. Like it's not one size fit all. So I like that you bring out different combinations for them to play around and like, do you want to go brighter? Do you want to go darker? Do you want to be in the middle? Let's talk it through so that they're leaving confident and comfortable in their installation and they have gorgeous hair at the same time.
Yeah. So one of my go-tos that I tell anybody that works for me is we use the rule of 3. And that means that anytime someone is coming in for their initial install, we try to have 3 different options, and they can be very similar. If someone is a really bright blonde, I might have mainly our Amalfi, but then one piece of Newport in there on each row, or mainly Amalfi, but then I'll add some of like the can blonde that has a little bit of a darker root, something like that, to where it's all in that same family, but they have a few different options to look at. And one that's going to make you as a stylist feel really confident that, okay, this one thing didn't work, and now I have to go back to the drawing board in front of my guest. Nobody wants to do that. And so if you have a few different options, not only is it going to make you feel more confident, but I think the guest in your chair really loves that you've put in the effort and that you have enough stock and options to where if they maybe thought they wanted to be a bright blonde, but then you put that extra pop of dimension in there and they see it up against their skin and they really decide, oh my gosh, I love that. Actually, I decided that I want to go with that, that you have the resources to do that instead of having them wait for another appointment or coloring down some of the other extensions to make that work that might take you as a stylist a little bit more effort. And then now you're struggling at that initial appointment and maybe you didn't plan for that time.
Yes, and I think it's also you're talking about the client's hair health too by letting the colors do the work. Because you mentioned it before, you get to play around, mix and match on the table, and then install on their hair, and it's their hair is growing, and also there's a lot of dimension. There's different things working within the hair that just gives them a gorgeous result at the end. And again, it speaks to your artistry.
Well, thank you. Yeah, that's one of the things that we really pride ourselves in is
Mhm.
ultimately we are an extension salon. So, of course, that's our business, but we always want in the course of someone, coming to first visit our salon and end goal is to really get their hair most healthy. There's nothing worse than when you take out extensions and you're going over there to color and they're looking at their natural hair for a second. They're like, wait, is this worse than what it started? So really marrying together, Covet Mane hair, and I do concealed method and I absolutely love it. It's so good for the client's hair health, and it's so gentle on it. So I love that. But really, it goes hand in hand with having good quality hair too. If the hair quality is not there, you're going to have to overstyle it. You're going to have to work a little harder. Covet and Mane has so many different color options that we're able to really work smarter, not harder, and use multiple different tones instead of coloring their hair to match the extensions.
Exactly. And I love that you mentioned working with Covet Mane extensions. And what advice would you give someone that's just starting out in the extension world or working with Covet Mane?
Yeah, so I think some of the advice that I would give if you're just starting out and you're looking to purchase hair, I know Covet Mane has their discovery kits, which I think personally are amazing. You're going to get a lot of bang for your buck there, and you're going to get to play around with some different colors that maybe you didn't think that you initially needed. So I think that's really important. There's been so many times where we've just started out by buying the exact colors that we think we need. And so I think one of my big pieces of advice would be if you can try to step out of your comfort zone with your favorite colors and try something different. I've done that quite a few times. Last year, actually, when I was visiting Taylor in Arizona, I hadn't used the Newport yet,
Mhm.
and it blew my mind. I now it's one of my favorite colors. So I think getting out of your comfort zone with your favorite colors and trying a little bit of something different is not only going to benefit you and your stylists that work with you, but also it's going to benefit your client because they're going to see something new as well. So maybe, trying a discovery kit, trying some different extension colors that you don't normally purchase. I think that's going to be really good. And another thing that I feel like kind of goes hand in hand is I know we're all in this era of social media and people are better than others. I'm guilty of not doing as many videos that you kind of have to piece together. But I do think that a big portion of it now is seeing behind the scenes. So anytime I get a big bundle of hair from Covet and Mane, I'm always trying to post and do a little behind the scenes video as well, because I think our clients and our guests, they are coming ultimately to get their hair done, but they're falling in love with you and they love to see the behind the scenes process as well. And if someone has maybe been on the fence about getting hair extensions or certain colors, and then you open a big box of hair and you're hanging up your different hair colors and different lengths, they're going to see some of that, and maybe that's just the extra push that they needed to come into your space.
I love that. And I like that you mentioned the discovery kits. It's something that we launched last year that is a really great way to set yourself up for success. Like Heather was saying, we have a blonde, a brunette, and our team picks so that your first few installs ready to go right there. You get to play with different colors. And another option that we have is our edits too. So it's more one-to-one where you get to see different color combinations that our artists have created because they've used them for themselves.
Yes, so with the edits, that's another thing. I actually have kind of forgot about that, but I do the edits a lot with wavy. So if
Nice.
you are somebody that you're interested in offering more than just the straight line in Covet and Mane, you guys also have the wavy and the textures. I love getting the edits for the wavy because we don't have as many wavy clients. And so I like to carry a little bit of a stock, but maybe you don't want to build up an entire stock when that's not really your clientele. So the edits with the wavy, I believe you get 2 pieces of 3 different types. And
Mhm.
I love that because that's allowed me to really see what colors in the wavy that I love. And I'm so familiar with, all the straights, but now it's been nice the past couple of years to be able to do some of the edits too. So I love that.
That's so good. Before we go, can you let us know, give us a quick recap of your 2 brunettes that you would keep in stock, 2 blondes, and 2 balayage?
Okay, can I do 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember, groups of 3.
Okay, so Amalfi is gonna be for my blonde, my top go-to. And really, I mentioned it before. It's gonna be because you can do a little micro root for your clients, or you can kind of bring that down and match where your client is currently living at or where they want to be.
Mhm.
Another one is gonna be Bondi Blonde. I absolutely love that. It's gonna be that same bright blonde, but it's gonna have, I think, in my opinion, close to a level 7 root. Um,
Mhm.
so you can darken that with like a little extra micro root if you want to blend it a little bit more, or you can add that in and it gives just that little bit of depth right at the top. So I love
Mhm.
that. And then another blonde is going to be the can blonde. That one to me, it's very bright. It has dimension, but it has a true level 6 root in my opinion.
Mhm.
And most of our clients, even if they are bright blonde, they are going to be a little bit darker at the root. And so
Mhm.
that's a really great color that if someone has a drop root, you can put that right on top. But if someone wants to be really bright and not have a drop root, then you can stick that color in the middle and it just gives that really soft dimension that comes down just a little bit further and then it
Mhm.
pops all blonde at the end. Because truly, I think that most of our bright blondes, they don't want to see a dark, ribbon or dark dimensional piece all the way through. They might want to see it a little bit here. We notice that in a lot of the inspiration photos that they give, but that bottom and that front money piece, they want it all blonde all day long. They want it to pop. So those are going to be my top blondes. My brunettes, I'm going to have to stick with the natural just because that's a really beautiful dark, perfect. I don't want to say like, I get afraid saying warm because I think that a lot of people stray away from that, but the perfect amount of warmth that's just going to give that rich tone. And
Mhm.
that's what I think a lot of brunettes are wanting is you will hear that alongside dimension. They just say, "Oh, I just want that chocolate, that
Mhm.
rich color." And instead of using the word warmth, maybe we start using the word rich because I feel like
Yeah.
that is what a lot of people want. So the natural is going to be great. And then my other 2 base brunettes are going to be the Portofino and the Santiago. Both of those I feel like are beautiful natural tones that you can really play off of some of the other colors to make them pop and add a little bit more dimension. So those are going to be my favorites for the brunettes. And then transition tones. I have so many. This is so hard. But Newport, you've heard me talk about
Yeah.
that one. It has the perfect amount of warm and cool tones in it. Another one of our more recent favorites is going to be Cape Town. I absolutely love that. I'm wearing it in my hair. I feel like that color is so easily transitioned. You could put that in a brunette that wants to be a little bit more brondy, but their base is
Mhm.
really a brunette. Or you could pop a little bit of that Cape Town into a bright blonde just to give them a soft dimension, or maybe put it on the underneath layer. I have one of the girls that works for me. She's pretty blonde, but a lot of us are a little bit darker on our underneath. And so
Mhm.
adding maybe an extra piece or 2 of that on your bottom underneath the row to kind of pop out and marry that natural color is really
Mhm.
going to be key. So I love Cape Town. And then I'm going to say Dubai. That's another one of my favorite transitional pieces. I feel like it's not too warm, but it's not too cool, and it's going to fade really pretty on tone. So I love doing that. That's a real Dubai and the natural, or Dubai and Santiago or Portofino. Those are really, really pretty together for a brunette.
And you gave such good advice for someone that's getting started with Covet Mane, looking at our discovery kits, looking at the edits, but also showcasing your work and being excited about that is a great way to attract clients, because I feel they're always interested in seeing what you're posting on social and just having a presence there. Is there one piece of advice before we go that you can share for someone that's interested in learning more or wanting to up level their extension game?
Yes, so I would say definitely just put yourself out there in the extension world. There's so many people that do extensions, and so I feel like it is really hard to get your start. You feel
Mhm.
like, oh my gosh, there's so many people that are doing more than me, but just get started. And Covet in Maine is a wealth of knowledge. We have these Covet sessions so often, so tune into those. Really just deep dive in. I would definitely say if you're interested in extensions, do the concealed method. I absolutely love it. And I'm not just saying that. I've done a lot of methods, and concealed is mainly what we do at our salon now. It's a really, really easy on the hair, on your natural hair.
Mhm.
And there's so many people now that live a really busy lifestyle. They want to be able to throw their hair up in ponytails. They want to be able to not see anything around the perimeter, not have beads that are showing, do a flip up, and the concealed method has all of that. So I definitely think if you are someone new to extensions, you don't have to start at the bottom. You can
Exactly.
jump way up to the top and do the concealed method, use the best hair out there. You really just need to just invest in yourself, and
Mhm.
you will go far.
Amazing. Well, Heather, thank you so much for taking time and joining us for our Covet session. We've enjoyed having you and learning all your tips and tricks about blending Covet and Main extensions. And if anyone has questions about the education that Heather mentioned, or wanting to learn more about those discovery kits or getting started with Covet and Main, feel free to reach out to me at education@covetandmain.com, and we can answer any questions that you have. Heather, thank you again, and I hope you have a great Monday.
Yay, thank you so much. And thank you to the whole Covet and Main team. I love you guys so much, and it's been really fun.
Yeah, we love you too, and we'll see you soon.
Okay, bye. Thank you guys.